Hello, dear students. This is your Aishwarya ma'am, and today I'm going to teach you the poem The Snake Trying from Beehive of Class 9. So, let us now talk about our poet W. Ross. His full name is William Wrighton Eustace Ross, often misspelled as William Wrightson Eustace Ross. He was born on 14 June 1894 and expired on 26 August 1966, and he was a Canadian geophysicist and a poet. He was the first published poet in Canada to write Imagist poetry, that is based on imagination, and later the first to write surrealist verse, both of which have led some to call him the first modern Canadian poet. Surreal means based on imagination, fantastic. He had mainly written about sonnets and laconics. Okay, so laconics also based on his imagination. The Snake Trying is an example of laconist poem. Okay, each of us think of snakes as fearsome symbols of death. Today I am going to teach the poem The Snake Trying by W. Ross, and I am your Aishwarya ma'am. Now about snakes. We human beings always consider snakes as harmful and venomous. But there are certain group of snakes that are as timid as any other animals. Even if the snakes bite, they do it in their self-protection because they too feel afraid of it. Otherwise, the snakes do not harm and injure human beings. But sadly, human beings are bent upon killing the snakes whenever they see one. In this poem, we would see that a harmless snake is being chased away by a stick by a human being, and it is a harmless kind of a non-venomous snake. It is green in color. So let us see the lines. The snake trying to escape the pursuing stick with sudden carvings of thin, long body. How beautiful and graceful are his shapes. So, the poet here speaks about a snake who is trying to escape the pursuing. Pursuing means the chasing, the following stick. I will come about the figure of speeches later in detail. But for now, let me tell you, the pursuing stick, the figure of speech is transferred epithet. The stick is not chasing the snake, but the human being who is holding the stick is chasing the snake. And what is the snake doing? The snake is trying to escape away from the chasing stick, and it is being chased by a human being. It was sitting peacefully in an area until it was noticed and it was chased away with sudden carvings. Carvings means bendings, the way a snake moves, with wriggling body curves. So with sudden carvings of thin, long body. So you get to see that the snake is long in length and it has a thin body. So as soon as a human being chases the snake away, it moves away with the carvings of its body. And the poet here is glorifying the snake. The poet is mesmerized by the beautiful shapes of the snake with which it is passing away. How beautiful and graceful are his shapes. So carvings means twisting, it's written down. So as soon as it is being chased away, it escapes from the following stick by its wriggly movements, and the poet is mesmerized by the beauty of its shapes. He glides through the water away from the stroke. Oh, let him go over the water into the reeds to hide without hurt. Small and green, he is harmless even to children. So the poet here, sympathizes with the snake. We always consider snakes to be harmful. We always consider it to be shrewd and cunning and harmful. But this snake in the poem is harmless, rather biting back the man in return. It is trying to avoid and escape the following stick. So what does it do? It glides through the water. Glides means moves through the water away from the stroke. Stroke means the hitting of the stick. Oh, let him go. The poet has already sympathized with the snake. In this poem, he shows that the snake instead is the victim and not the human beings. So the poet is telling, oh, let him go over the water into the reeds. Reeds are the water plants, the long, thick stems, water or marsh plants with thick stems. Into the reeds to hide without hurt, without getting hurt. Let it hide behind the reeds and go inside the water. Otherwise, the stick is going to hurt it. Here, the snake is the victim. Small and green. The snake is small and green. He is harmless even to children. So the snake is very small in breadth, but it is long in length and the color is green. And he is so timid, so harmless that it cannot even harm the children. But still, it is being chased away by a human being. So here the poet sympathizes with the harmless snake, and the poet says that it is as harmless as any other timid animal, and it can even do no harm to the children. Along the sand he lay until observed and chased away. And now he vanishes in the ripples among the green slim reeds. So it was laying down on the sand for some time until it was noticed. Observed means noticed and chased away. So it was followed and chased away, and it became afraid and it went away. It avoided the stick. It avoided itself from getting hurt. So here the snake is the victim and not the human beings as we usually see. The poet has used the strategy of laconics. This poem falls under the category of laconics. That is, to glorify very ordinary things and other beings and show it in a different light. And now he vanishes, disappears in the ripples among the green slim reeds. So now it quickly, alertly vanishes in the ripples of the water among the green slim reeds. So without doing any harm, it vanishes, it avoids the stroke of the stick, and it vanishes away. So here the human being is the one who is chasing the snake, the non-harmful, harmless snake. And the snake is here the victim, which is trying to self-protect itself instead of biting back in return.
Now, let us see the literary devices in the poem. First literary device used is alliteration, the repetition of a consonant sounds in two or more consecutive words. So he is harmless, he, her, and harmless, her. There is a repetition of the her sound. So this is called alliteration, the repetition of a consonant sound. Then transferred epithet, as I told you while teaching the poem line by line. The adjective used with a noun refers to a noun other than the one with which it is used. Pursuing stick. Pursuing refers to the person who is holding the stick and not the stick itself. So here the quality of pursuing or chasing is not ascribed to the human being but to the stick which the human being is holding. So the stick is a noun and the human being is a noun. human being should be ascribed the adjective pursuing, but instead the stick is given the adjective or the epithet pursuing. So transferred means given to somebody else, and epithet means the adjective.
So let us see the rhyming scheme. It is a free verse with lines unequal in length and no meter. There is no rhyme scheme in the poem. Now, title justification of The Snake Trying. It's being repeated in the opening line to reinforce that the snake is trying to avoid and escape. It makes the reader curious, and he reads the rest of the poem to learn that the snake is a victim and not the attacker. So the title is appropriate as it initiates the inquisitiveness of the reader and prompts him to find out what exactly is the snake trying to do. The poem conveys the message that all creatures of nature need to be treated in a kind and sympathetic manner. Even snakes must not be attacked because they do not bite unless they sense a danger to their life. Moreover, there are certain varieties of snakes that are not poisonous and hence harmless. Thank you.